I see Vader in the background, so I gotta ask you, out of the new Disney Plus, obviously, or really Disney Star Wars, out of the new series, what has been your favorite?
I liked them all. I liked. I love. I loved Mando. I loved Ahsoka. I liked Andor. I love the animated stuff a lot. I love the Clone Wars, the Rebels, Tales of the Jedi. If I had to pick one, I love Book of Boba Fett. But if I had to pick just one, I say my favorite would be Mandalorian right now.
Man, it's funny. I was thinking in my head like
But
a
but Ahsoka a very close second. And when I was on the road for WCW, I discovered the Star Wars novels. I discovered the Heir to the Empire, Grand Admiral Thrawn. So to see
yeah.
him in live action, it was cool seeing him in Rebels, as a cartoon, but to see a live action Grand Admiral Thrawn on Ahsoka was incredible, and I think it. I think they did it so well too. Great
Man, I was
heel, fantastic heel.
so good. And I was watching, I was thinking, it's like, oh, I wonder what's the best. And it's funny, I was thinking in my head, Obi-Wan, which I liked, is probably my least favorite if I was
Like that one
ranking
too.
them.
Yes, I like them all. Yeah.
But if I was ranking, I was like, I might put, which is crazy, Obi-Wan last, and then it's like I think Mando's first, but maybe Ahsoka. You're right in that close second because that was such a good series. The villains were great. Even Balin was great.
Night
It's just
Sisters were awesome.
yeah, like
Big
really
mark for the Night Sisters. What I
they
didn't
did
get in
really good.
Obi-Wan, he went from having no power to just kind of beating Vader like this. What I envisioned, my fantasy booking was he's all weak, he's disconnected from the Force. I saw maybe something where Leia is in really dire straits. She's in a lot of danger, and Qui-Gon shows up almost like Mick to Rocky and like wakes him up in the Force and gives him the Force back somehow. And it's just kind of like he went from having minimal force to ultra force, like with no moment that caused that transition. But I still loved watching it.
Yeah, true. You're right. And I thought maybe a little bit too much on Leia, not enough on Luke the kid, because wasn't he supposed to be watching
Yeah,
Luke the whole time? Like I was like, where are they going with this?
I thought so too.
And then Ahsoka, I love Balin, obviously R.I.P. But that he unfortunately
Fantastic. Oh,
he
yeah,
did.
it's great.
Oh, he was great. I love that when you look at it, it's like he kind of defeated her. She never got her win back, quote
Yeah,
unquote. I thought that was awesome because it just shows you why, like, wow, this guy's great. I wonder whose side is he really on? You know?
I was confused. Like, I love Star Wars. I love all the animated stuff, but I know how good Ahsoka was for me just because I knew the backstory of the Mortis gods and all that type of stuff. I'm not
Yes.
sure. I couldn't imagine watching it, not seeing the animated and not knowing all these extra little things like the Night Sisters and stuff.
Yep.
Uh, when you knew who the players were and the history behind them, it just makes it so much better.
If I didn't see all the Clone Wars and all Rebels, I would have been lost. You know what I mean? Like, I would have been like, "Who the hell's
Yeah,
that? What does that mean? Why
yeah,
why is he obsessed with the skull thing?" Which is like, you know what I mean? You'd be like, what is that?" Or the mountain
yeah,
thing. You know, it's like
yep.
weird. Like, so you have to watch Rebels and Clone
Just
Wars
makes
to
it so much better. Yep.
yeah to understand it all. But I just thought I was like, man, Ahsoka, they hit a home run. I wasn't thinking it was going to be that great. Like it's almost
That
like
was
Andor,
great.
low expectations. Man, they hit a home run with it.
And I loved it seeing Anakin's ghost was fantastic. That was so awesome.
Really kind of a retribution for him as a character. 'Cause remember after Attack of the Clones, everyone, oh, he's a terrible actor. This guy sucks. Well, now everybody loves him, so it's kind of
It
a
was great.
complete
Yeah.
turnaround.
Yep. And also seeing scenes from the Clone Wars in live action was great.
Yeah, yeah, that was cool. Very cool, man. Book of Boba Fett I liked too. Was cool. Cad
Yep.
Bane in live
That
action was awesome.
fantastic character. A lot of people got down on Book of Boba Fett, and as an older guy, I think you see it differently. Like a lot of people wanted to see him become that ruthless bounty hunter, the ruthless bounty hunter again. But he had a near death experience. He has all these experiences that helped him to evolve and see that life's not just just going out to kill people for money, and he becomes humanized, but he's still a badass. I really liked it a lot. You know, the whole transition from this faceless killer to this really human evolved guy that could still be a killer.
And the great thing is at the end with him and Cad Bane is he gets the final victory over him. If you know, obviously, if you know the backstory, he knows him from
Yeah.
Clone Wars. He's kind of his mentor. He's the protege.
Ding in
Like,
the
so-
helmet, the ding in
yep,
the helmet too. Yep.
yep. So like everything kind of like makes sense where it goes along. So that final scene is great, but then it's like, well, if he doesn't kill him, he's not a badass. And then he kills him. It's like, okay, he's still a
Yeah.
badass. Yeah,
Yep.
that was perfect. I thought that was awesome done. It was like an old gunfight, basically. You know, you're watching the old
Was
Wild West.
fantastic. Yep. I
So
agree. Great scene.
So, what are you looking forward to next? Like, what's coming out next for Disney? Is it Andor season 2, or what are you looking forward to?
Bad Batch season 3 is out, I think, next.
Oh, it is. Okay,
Another great show. And there's stuff in there that's from those Heir to the Empire novels. Near the end of last season, you saw Mount Tantus, which in the novels was where the Emperor kept all his top secret stuff, and and they were working on the Dark Troopers there, and in the books, that's where they cloned Luke from his hand and all stuff like that. So who knows what we're going to see?
man, it's so cool. Like when you look at how much possibilities and kind of where they can go, and supposedly this Mando plus Ahsoka plus Boba Fett movie that's
Yep,
coming out from Filoni and Favreau. So like, man, they got a bunch of good stuff coming down the pike.
I can't
That's-
wait.
yeah, looking forward to Ahsoka season 2 too. Whenever that hell that comes out, that'll be good.
Yep,
And
I
hopefully
agree.
Mando's not done. Hopefully.
I I saw today on Facebook. I'm not sure if it's true or not. It said that Mando season 4 would be released as a movie. I don't know if it was clickbait or not, but I was at work and I saw it super quick, and I did not have. I saw the headline, did not have time to click on the link. Just too busy.
Grand Admiral Thrawn is great. I'm always loving the villain. That's why Bad Batch is cool because not only Palpatine's on it, but you got Krennic and Tarkin. So I'm
Yeah,
a big fan of the villain. So it's pretty cool that they're on that show too.
and if you read the book, the cool thing about Thrawn, the distinct difference between Thrawn and Vader was that Vader got his troops and officers to do what he wanted by fear. They were scared that he would kill them. The people that followed Thrawn respected the hell out of him. He only accepted the casualties he absolutely had to have. Like Vader would send people into battle to get the job done, and if they died, they died. Thrawn would try to avoid death, and he was a brilliantly smart guy, and his troops respected him. And you saw that in Ahsoka when they had the zombie troopers. The Night Sister says they all volunteered. They openly volunteered to do that job for him, knowing that they would be left behind once a ship left.
Right. True. Yeah, definitely.
Respect, not fear, which is
Yep.
awesome.
Yep. And I love that he's
Totally
like a
different.
Tarkin disciple too. I love that.
Yes. Yep.
Kind of gave him his rank or whatever, and kind of pushed him up the
Absolutely.
ladder, which is pretty cool. So I
And if
love that.
you and if you get deep into the Star Wars lore, they get into how the Empire was almost racist. They only had humans as officers, but so brilliant was Thrawn that with the Emperor, Moff Tarkin, they made him a Grand Admiral because he was that good, in spite of him not being a human, which is awesome.
Did you hate the Last Jedi as much as I did?
Uh, I I hated the Last Jedi. I thought it was worse than the Star Wars Christmas special.
Yeah, it's funny. People were ripping on Rise of the Skywalker. I said that saved it because Last Jedi
Yeah,
was so damn bad. They actually had to go back and like, okay, you forgot about the Knights of Ren. You forgot about like we have to have a villain. You killed Snoke. It's like terrible.
Rise of Skywalker did the best they could given the circumstances.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Yep.
I am hoping, it's been rumored online forever for the past few years. I'm hoping somehow Filoni erases the sequel trilogy via the World Between Worlds, and
Oh,
he could.
how's he gonna do that? What is it about though? What happens?
No, I'm saying that the world between worlds is in Rebels. You know, remember that, right? So
Oh,
where
yes,
Ezra
yes.
pulls Ahsoka out and he
Yep.
prevents her from dying from Vader. Changes the future.
Yes, yes. Oh, okay, I gotcha. See, I like, Force Awakens, hated Jedi, and, Rise of the Skywalker wasn't as good as Force, but it was still good enough, and I love Palpatine, so
Force Awakens was a good setup, had a lot of cool characters. They played it safe, very similar to the first Star Wars with the big space station, all, but it was great. I liked the characters. I wanted to see who Snoke was, where that went, where he
yep,
came from. I
yep.
wanted that backstory, and they just killed him.
That was
They just
made no
killed him.
sense. Made no sense. I remember I saw with a couple buddies of mine. We went to the bar after we're just sitting there, and we're like, "Who wants to say it?" And they're like, we're all like, "What? What?" They're like, "That sucked." They're like, "Oh yeah, yeah, you're right. You're like, we're like, what the hell is Snoke's whole point?" And thank God they said it in, or you got a glimpse of it in Skywalker. That was like, "Oh, he's a clone." Oh, okay. Like, so it started to make a
Still,
little bit of sense, but oh no, you
uh,
you don't think he was?
no, no, I'm saying it was a bad explanation being a clone. I didn't like it.
Oh, but at least they did something because Last Jedi was nothing. There was like no story about him
I
at all.
was hoping that he was Darth Plagueis, maybe. I thought I
Oh,
thought that was an
yeah,
option.
yeah,
Looked really
yep,
old, really, really kind of beat up and all. Darth Plagueis did find a way to cheat death. Maybe
right,
Palpatine did not kill him, or he thought he did, but he really didn't.
right. They could have did something, but I was like, oh, at least they did something. Because Last Jedi, they just killed him and didn't explain who the hell he was. Like, what the hell?
Yep,
Favorite Star Wars movie? Empire Strikes Back.
it used to be, and I'll
Oh,
explain why. Because I really thought about it a lot, and in order to understand why it's not, you got to go back to the time, and you got to put myself in that child. And Empire Strikes Back was great, but when I was that child, at the end of Empire Strikes Back, Han Solo is in carbonite. You found out Darth Vader is Luke's father. Maybe, maybe not. You saw Yoda for the first time. Uh, this was before the special edition. So, Star Wars and Empire, you've heard of Jabba the Hutt, but you've never seen him. And then years later comes Return of the Jedi. You see Jabba the Hutt, and he's awesome looking. And he's in an environment that's very reminiscent of the Cantina. All these weird aliens from all different places and planets, and really cool looking things. And if you were a kid, they were awesome action figures. It was great. You find out that Vader is in fact uh, Luke's father. You see the Emperor as a person for the first time, not a hologram like he did in Empire. You see him as a person. Uh, you see all this. Darth Vader takes his mask off. You see Force lightning for the first time. So when I really think about it, because of all the payoffs and stuff like that, I'd have to say Return of the Jedi.
nice. I like
Just
the rationale.
just for those reasons. It's not just arbitrary. I think as an adult, I appreciate that Empire's probably the better movie, but the emotions attached to Return of the Jedi outweigh the better movie, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. Well said. I agree. I love the rationale. Yes.